Yo, so hey, I have to say, right, when you do a lot of festivals and you put stuff out there, you seem to start to appear on people's radar, which is always an interesting one, right? Because you do wonder, are they contacting me because they like my stuff, or it's just, a widening of the net situation, you know what I mean? But yeah, I got hit up about this new short film called Lost Kings. And there seems to be a lot of interest around this film. And even to the point where I think it's being under consideration for an Oscar, right? An Oscar nomination, which is huge. But that's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Because I think you look at these things sometimes and you be like, I mean, like, what if I hate it? What am I gonna say about this? You know what I mean? But as I've always said, people, I am open. I'm always open to see stuff, experience things. So I figured I would give it a shot, right? And it is from Brian Laws. He directed and wrote the piece. I think this is his third short, right? He also produced it along with Amanda Hayden, Morgan Harvey, and Aaron Newberry. Newberry also handled the music. Cinematography was Vincent Gonaville. Laws edited the film. The casting was from Chris Freehofer. Matt Couch handled production design. Morgan Harvey, again, Dalton Spence handled the makeup and all of that kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of talented, just tremendous people involved behind the camera. But in front of the camera, we have Dash Melrose as Zuri. We have got his brother Jaden is played by Jacob M. Wade. There's a cashier in a corner shop played by Brett Bauer. Now we have got the mother played by Cassie Self. Her daughter is played by Joe Ashley Moore, and her son is played by Max Michael. And the police officer in the piece is played by Travis Vernier. So, Lost Kings. I mean, there's a title that invokes a lot, but you do wonder, right? What does this mean? What is it about? Well, the gist of the story is this. Many children across the country go hungry and are forced to look for food in any way they can. This film, which is being considered for an Oscar, follows a boy who is doing just that. I would, yeah, he's just doing that, right? Yeah, he's searching for food and he is, I mean, it's hard to say forced, right? But he feels he is forced to do by any means necessary, by any means necessary. So I think storytelling is a skill. It is a skill, right? There's a lot of things people say, well, anyone can do it, right? And people say about comedy, oh, we can train you to tell jokes. Yeah, anyone can do it, which, to some degree, right? Same with films. And especially with the advent of the new technology and smartphones. People are always saying, "Oh man, with the new iPhone, with the new Samsung, right? Anyone can use a phone to create a small film. It's easy. There's new free tools. There's other tools you pay for, but they're not too expensive." We always hear about things like Gareth Edwards made Monster on a Mac, which I'm sure he did, but not the standard Mac that you might buy in the store. Motherfucker would have souped that up. You know what I mean? But that's the thing, right? So the barriers to entry may have come down on certain things, but just because the barriers have come down doesn't mean everyone has the skill and nuance to tell a tale. Storytelling of all forms is so artful, right? Because you have to get so much right for it to work. And with films, right, it's not just the story on the page, but it's then transferring that to the screen. And Brian Laws and his peoples have done such an incredible job with Lost Kings, right? Just like it's a short film, it's 16 minutes, right? It's 16 minutes long, but they do a wonderful job. They do a wonderful job in this, right? We see Zuri. He comes home, his little brother's watching the TV, ain't paying no attention, and he goes to his cupboard and there is not much in. I think there's some I think he picks up a packet of macaroni cheese, but then I'm assuming you need to add milk or maybe some cheese, like to make it pop. I mean, I make my shit from fresh, but I understand, right? But yeah, it just like we see him search the cupboards, and you see the expression on his face. So he's just like, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" And we see him leave the house, right? Brother, don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. But so he's thinking, what can I do? What can I do? And we then see him try one thing, which I mean, he does not do it well. Doesn't do it well at all. I was just like, homie, come on, man. You don't walk in with the bag on your shoulders. Like that's or if you do, have the zip at the side. Have the zip at the boom. Slip shit in. It's simple, man. Hey, I ain't done it, but in my head, right, you think there's ways about going about this thing, right? Now, doesn't work. But on his way home, he spots something. He spots something that it gives him an idea, gives him a clue. And so we see him do this thing, and you are just a bit like, oh no, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? This ain't the way. But you then see he's just going for food, right? He's just going for food. And you're like, oh man, I get it, right? I understand. And you do kind of think, all right, you know what? Although, doing this shit, you can't, like you wouldn't normally condone, but I get it. I get it. And it's just food. It's just food, right? Now, things then turn. Things turn, and he's in this situation, and the tension that is created, it is just, whew, it's palpable, man. Like, I mean, you really feel it. You really feel all these emotions, like the elation when he sees all of this food. Oh my God. Right. And then just the fear, the worry, the concern. And it's not vocalized, but you see on the face this shame and regret for the situation he's found himself in. You know, now things turn, right? and this family is involved. But even with that, right, we don't know this family. We don't get names or anything like that. All we understand is like looking at their house, what they have, and you'd be like, all right, looks like they're doing okay. Now, obviously, you don't know. You don't know if there's debt or like, you know, like a loveless marriage. Like you don't know, right? But you're looking at them, and then the realization they have, you see that, and the way all of that is handled, the way all of that is handled is so good, so good. And at the very end, this there is this moment that, oh man, like if you've got a cold ass heart, it's gonna melt your heart, people. It's going to melt your heart. Oh my god. Oh my god. And a big thing about this, right? These actors involved, they have done a tremendous job because the story is one thing, but you then need these actors. I've said it so many times, right? You need the actors to be on board, and especially with something this short, because there's no meat on, sorry, there's meat on the bone, there's no fat on the bone, right? It is so tight, so concise. So anyone that doesn't get across what this is in that split second, that could be the downfall of this film. It really could. And these, oh man, these thespians, they kill it. They kill it. Even, you know what I mean? Just Jaden doesn't really say anything, but it's just from the way he's sitting, the way he interacts with Zuri, that speaks volumes. You know, the way the mother's inflection shifts is just great. The daughter, right? The way she is processing the situation, right? At first, we see a little bit of, nonchalance. Then we see a little bit of worry and concern. And then at this pivotal moment in the film, we see her weigh everything up. And then the compassion. And it was masterful. It was masterful. Zuri, at the end, again, like none of this is vocalized, but it's like you see, that shame, the regret, the relief, and the kind of, I can't be in this situation again. Right? That's what you get from that. Right? Which is insane because literally it's not a long, right? It's a few seconds. See his face. And you're just like, oh man, so much resonates. The camera work and everything like that. There's a lot of soft focus. So you see the clarity of a situation. Everything else in the background, a little hazy. So things pop, right? You are not losing focus of the story, of the movements, of the beats. Man, this was just, this was handled so well, people. This was handled so well. And it just goes to show what can be done in a short frame of time. Now, look, we've seen some great stories, right? Remember the Flair Festival earlier in the year? We had Cost of Living from Alice Truman, friends of the show, right? Emily El Fadis from A to Q. Hey, people, which is coming to TV, right? If you've got Channel 4, it's coming to Channel 4, so you get to watch that there. And then we had Jessica Benahu with A Love is a Hand Grenade, who all really showed the masterful efforts of storytelling in a short space of time. And yeah, Lost Kings, oh, it resonates in the same way. It really does. Brian and the rest of his crew, listen, they deserve all the awards, all the praise that they are currently getting. And it's going to take a great piece of work to stop this from winning Oscars. For real. It is that great an experience of a story of just a a message that is being sent in a non-patronizing way. So if you get the opportunity, people, I tell you, watch Lost Kings.